So, buttons. Why did E.T. have to phone home? I mean, wouldn't the aliens on the spacecraft that flew away eventually have figured out he was missing? I mean, they must do head counts on that ship, you know, if they're traveling from world to world, you know, they must have surveys and scannings and, you know, everything, you know. I mean, they must knock on the individual rooms and, I mean, what's up? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, I see. They were trying to ditch him? Those grade A bastard douchebag a-holes! I mean, how could you ditch E.T.? Uh-huh. I see. He stays over at your places, and then makes long-distance phone calls. Here's one thing I've always wondered. How come when the nostalgia critic and whatever you call James Rolfe when he's not the angry video game nerd, they both did a review of the Godzilla movie released by Roland Emmerich. How come neither of them brought up the fact that Godzilla was pregnant? I mean, damn. Yeah, I know. I agree. That is too easy a joke. So, kudos to those two guys for staying classy and not going with the obvious ones. Alright. Here's one thing I've always wondered. When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose the shield must yield, as we all know. I mean, that shield is made of adamantium and vibranium, and it can cut through trees and water towers, and cell phones, and cell towers, and iron. So how come, whenever Captain America reaches out to grab a shield like this, how come it doesn't slice through his entire hand? I mean, why? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Works out. What do you mean it works out? Like he exercises his hand? How does he exercise his hand? That's nasty. So, Star Trek 3 takes place immediately after Star Trek 2. I mean, they're going back into the starbase, the space dock. I don't want to get angry comments from Trekkies. Space dock, and the Enterprise is still damaged, and you can still see the damage from where the Reliant blew it up. So how come the bridge of the Enterprise in Star Trek 3 is so much brighter and more well lit than in Star Trek 2? Oh, I see. On the way home, they stopped by Kohl's and got some new lighting fixtures. Okay, that makes sense. How were the Amazons in DC's Amazon's Attack able to bring down jet planes and fighter jets with spears and arrows? They were magic. Does Linkara know? Of course. Of course he knows. That'd be silly. Okay, a long time ago, and back in the early 90s, I was playing a video game for the Sega Genesis. It was called Captain America and the Avengers, and it was one of those games where you could be either Captain America, the Vision, Hawkeye, or Iron Man. And you know, at the end of each level, you faced a Marvel villain as the boss. And you did this before each battle they did this little banter like saying, ho ho, blah, blah. But one thing I never understood was this. Okay, at the end of the first level, you're facing Whirlwind. Now, the hero has this hero quote, "You can't escape!" Now, here's where it gets really effed up. Whirlwind, the villain, has this as a comeback. "You will be the one escaping. You will be the one escaping." I always thought, as I grew older and more mature and wiser and experienced, that eventually that would make sense to me. It still doesn't! I mean, WTF? Yeah, I agree. They really dropped the ball on that one. Oh, look at me, I got a ball, I got a ball, I got a ball. Oh! I dropped a ball. You know how in the first hour of Jaws you never see the shark? I mean, it's just only people splashing and people like looking scared, you know, and you see a little bit of trail of blood, or maybe an arm floating in the water, or that scene where the guy's been throwing the frisbee out to the dog, and then he's calling out for the dog, and all you see is the frisbee floating ominously. But then they go out on the boat, and Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss and Roy Scheider are looking for the shark, and the shark comes out of the water, and it's freaking huge! I mean, how was a shark that big able to not be seen for a whole hour of the movie? He was involved in a space flight where he went out into outer space and got bombarded by cosmic rays? Well, that's just silly. Well, Buttons, I appreciate your answering all my questions. And if any of you have questions you want to answered, just leave one of those comments down below, and I'll relay the message to Buttons. Bye now.